What's good, y'all, and welcome to another video. Diao-chan and Lubu are finally here on the test server, and our mission is to once again go over the kits, go over the abilities, potential use cases, everything in between. And as you can see, there is already the most beautiful button in the game, which means a hero trailer. So let's turn up the game volume and get to watching.
Our research begins.
Alright, here we go, trailer time. Diao-chan.
They say love is like a rose, beautiful yet dangerous.
Honestly, I really like the art style. In comparison to like the Wukong animation or whatever, you have these beautiful drawn pages combined with the animations. You have the color shifts. Like, I don't know, this looks way better than the Wukong one. Also less of like obvious CGI and all that stuff. Music is fitting. I mean, what more do you want? What more can you get? This is peak content when it comes to hero introduction trailers, and this is what we expect from our game, and that is what they have to deliver, and that is what they did deliver.
They say love.
So the trailer was already amazing. Let's check out number 1, the class. She is a healer. Diao-chan, Moon's Radiance. Number 2, the factions, which would be Watcher and Infernal, which is obviously a rather unusual combination, though Watchers have been shown a lot of love in the last few months. Now with Infernals also getting something. Let's have a look. So the first 3 tags are ally buff, AoE heal and team protection. Stat wise, we are looking at Dolores range. Okay, so we're having a Dolores range at 2580 attack. Let me make a guess here. I would say it's an inspiration hero. Considering the fact that we're looking at 2500 attack. Okay, next up, the magic res is incredibly high. Magic res is incredibly high, and defense should be really high for such a weak unit, at least physically. At 9, at what is this? 10,000 HP, okay. 6-second attack interval, that is really high. 155% crit damage, 18 attack, 18 rage regen auto, 9 on basic attack, 10 on attack. Okay. Skills, the stuff we've all been waiting for, the make or break of a kid. Talent. Increases healing bonus by 50% that when deployed, which should be, if you have 100 healing bonus, it increases to 150%. Okay. When deployed, she begins dancing to Serenade of Hope. Serenade of Hope, a stance that continuously heals and protects allies. Okay. During Serenade of Hope, gains an extra 4% healing bonus every 2 seconds, reaching a maximum after 20 seconds, which means a 40% healing bonus, so total 90% combined with the beginning of her talent. Then during Song of Sorrow, a stance that continuously strengthens allies, increases attack by 2% every 2 seconds, going up to a maximum of 20%. These effects are removed when switching stances. Okay. Basic attack, AoE heal. Serenade of Hope. Periodically applies attack-based healing 3 times to all allies in range. Restores HP based on the target's max HP caster's attack. Song of Sorrow grants 25% inspiration to allies in range. Okay. So far we're looking at stronger healing than Dolores and a 25% inspiration on basic attack stance, which would be 100% uptime. if you are in Song of Sorrow. Alright. Bittersweet Dreams. Within 15 seconds after switching stances, the basic attack inherits half the effects of the previous stance. This effect can be triggered up to 1 time every 45 seconds. Okay, so let's say we are in a 90% healing stance, and then we swap the stance. However we do that, we swap the stance, we're still going to be able to heal properly for the next 15 seconds, or after swapping out of the inspiration stance, inspirate properly while still healing. Okay. Thorned Rose. Serenade of Hope, which is the healing stance, continuously applies physical damage reduction at 20%, magical damage reduction at 20%. The Song of Sorrow continuously applies penetration increase. Penetration increase ignores 20% of the defense and magic res to 2 other allies with the highest attack in range. Okay, okay. Bond skill. Obtain Lu Bu the Flying General in the Hero Gallery to unlock the following bonus effects. As long as an ally is in the basic attack range, reduces AoE damage taken by 30%. Okay, it's not an offensive one that interacts with inspiration, because I still don't know how we are supposed to get Lu Bu, but it does seem like he's gonna be ancient exclusive considering the fact that he is a chaotic unit. So that is already a plus at least, though there's still a chance that the chaotic unit is going to be normally summoned, which would be fancy and a first for the game. We really haven't been giving any info, and that she is a limited unit is also speculation, but it is most likely what's going to happen. Okay, now real question is, does this 30% only work for her? Does this 30% only work for the ally? And does this 30% work for everybody? You'll probably already know the answer right on screen this moment, but I don't currently in time. Next up, and finally, we have the ultimate, a Lover's Requiem. Basically the same thing that a Ingrid also has, which is a 100 rage cost, 100 rage auto, 1 second duration stance swap between Serenade of Hope and Song of Sorrow. Alright. So that has been it, everything for the kit. So far nothing too crazy. The inspiration multipliers don't seem that important, though keep in mind the Song of Sorrow is permanently active, and now we're getting to the big stuff, because this is the A1. When switching to Serenade of Hope, she heals all in range for 500%. That's a lot. When switching to Song of Requiem, applies Rage Regen. 5 seconds, restores 2% rage per second. This effect can be triggered up to once every 30 seconds. So we're looking at a 10% rage buff on top of inspiration with potentially big heals. Okay. A2, 300 attack, pushing us to, I believe, 2800 attack. Then we have a A3 increase in basic attack range, which is very interesting because this is then overtaking Dolores' range. The A4 is a all damage reductions plus 8%, and the A5 during Thorned Rose increases damage reduction of Serenade Hope during Thorned Rose. So whatever stance it is, and you're getting either one more target for the penetration or 5% increased damage reduction, so 25% each. Okay, and this isn't even all to her kit, because there will be a limited time exclusive artifact which might turn her into completely broken right here. What does it do? Phoenix Feather Fan increases attack by 5% when the Serenade of Hope reaches maximum stacks, gains an extra 10% healing bonus. When the Sorrow reaches maximum stacks, increases attack by an extra 3%. So we're getting an artifact that enhances both stances with the normal mythic base stats. It doesn't seem completely broken for the moment, because it is still only a 5% boost. and it does seem like that's the only thing that's getting upgraded. And the attack boost apparently also stays the same. So this artifact is going to be better than Keen Wisdom and better than the Golden Scarab, just from the multiplier wise. But it isn't so big of a difference that it makes her completely broken, because what we're looking at is a 8% increase rather than a 5% increase. Though now, let's quickly have a look at this then. So what we're gonna do is we quickly take a brief look at Dolores and see that a Dolores in a, you could say, proper set, let's not count the artifact in currently, ends up with 14,096 attack. 14,096 attack, with 60% of this getting put on someone. So that would be, I think it's 8,000. Alright. And now Diao-chan, let's quickly give her the gear from Dolores with her exclusive artifact. Let's for example have it at 25. Currently we're looking at 13,791, which is obviously lower because Dolores has the extra attack boost, but it is going to be higher if you do have her at A2. Okay, so far so good, but there's also this thing in the passive which we can't forget, better said in the talent, which makes it so that number one, I'm going to mute the Discord messages because I don't want them in the game. And number two, obviously, during the Song of Sorrow, she increases her attack by 2% every 2 seconds, which means that after 20 seconds, you're going to be looking at an additional 20% attack, which would in this case be 500 attack more added on top of this, pushing slightly above what a Dolores has. Though it is once again, for the moment, currently still a 25% multiplier, but to all allies in range and also permanently active. Permanently active, as well as a penetration increase to the 2 highest attack allies in range. Ooh boy. Ooh boy. So something that's gonna be very hard to test would have to be the inspiration part, because you can't really test inspiration if, oh, there you see the damn, you see this form swap between clean like black outfit, black like cotton wooden balls on the head, and then just like that swapping into, there you go, white, blue, white on top, and then like slightly lighter hair. It's interesting, looks very good. So yeah, I mean we could say we have around equal attack to Dolores, so the inspiration is only going to be active half the time. But keep in mind, this is something that has been you could say asked for ever since the beginning, and something that Ingrid made very popular, and that is permanent stances, right? She has permanent stances. So if you figure out a way, what you're going to be ending up with is 100% uptime on a inspiration boost. Otherwise, also, even during the inspiration boost, if you do have a Lubu, you get the 30% AoE damage reduction, which is equal to Farsi, if not slightly more. Let's see if I'm proven wrong here. Farsi, where is you, my brother? Farsi only provides AoE damage reduction of 25%. So it is a pretty powerful bond skill still. Okay. Interesting. How do we best test this? Just from me playing the game and expecting certain outcomes, what you can almost expect is that she's not going to be your top choice for Drake's Chasm. And the reason for that is just you're going to have so high ult uptime on a Dolores that you're not really going to see the extra benefit from having 100% uptime. Though on Titanic Ruins it's already going to be a different story, because there is no lore in Titanic Ruins. Titanic Ruins takes forever, and having a 25 attack boost for the whole 3 minutes rather than a 60% inspiration boost for just 20 seconds, or let's say 44 seconds if you trigger it twice, should already make a huge difference. So anything that is long form content, I guess you could say, should massively benefit from this. The same way, like for example a codex would. So let's imagine Styx codex, Styx Conqueror dual codex, where you are definitely encouraged to hit at the same time all the time. So oh boy, let's see if we can come up with a good way to test this unit to an extent, and then do the proper testing the closer we get to release. Oh yeah, and just real quick, just from how she looks and the way her kit already reads, she seems way more fun than Beelzebub. No hate on him, but hey, my guy, you probably picked the wrong time to come out if we're getting a limited exclusive inspiration booster. For our first test, we'll still be going into Nightmare 4, and what we'll be comparing is a swap out team similar to this against a constant boost team, which is going to be including Elowen and Diao-chan, as well as another DPS in the place of Laurel, just to see if there is a chance that this dethrones the burst meta. And also keep in mind, we won't be running either of these inspiration units in their respective factions, being it Infernal or Watchers. And as we've already seen in the Dolores vs Beelzebub test, there can be up to a 50% increase in damage boosted through inspiration if you do actually add in a Lord. But it highly also depends on if the Lord is an offensive one and whatever. But yeah, enough of this, let's get into this here. We skip to the Dolores results and then do the Diao-chan fight ourselves just to see some gameplay. This is about as perfect as a run as you can get with not that crazy gear. Everybody A0, which we're looking at 72,423 blood, 160 from Hex, 140 from Wukong, 137 from Arrogance, 112 from Lust, and 92 from Yo. Just briefly before we get into the Diao-chan fight, obviously let me show you the fact, right? You can see, I mean, Torador was a 5, which is obviously weird. Why did I have my Torador on a 5? What does it do? 20% attack speed. Nothing too crazy, so at least it's not that bad. But as you can see, the other ones were basically A0 besides Yova, and that's because I don't have a second Yova copy on the test server for whatever reason. Enough of that, let's quickly go over the gear. As I said, it isn't that amazing, so you're going to be looking at attack percent, crit damage, some crit damage right here with one 4 stat, and then on the attack and weapon it's crit damage. I know it's good gear, but it is nothing with variant pieces and all that stuff on top of it. So here, if we take a look at the other pieces, you'll find it the same thing between everybody, and that is you can compare the stats almost to the same degree when it comes to offensive potential here. So this is set 1, this is set 2, the last set is set 3, this is set 4, this is set 5. They are basically all the same. So yeah, let's swap it over to Diao-chan. Alright, so the grand big genius idea I had is we're just going to swap the gear from Arrogance and Volker, pretty much putting Volker on the field permanently. And yeah, so Volker, she's not going to do that much damage, but she is going to provide us with the inspirations, and she's also going to be providing us with the heals on basic attack, which should keep everyone alive and make this team nice and simple. And also, I guess, reliable, because you don't have to worry about Wukong spamming all your ground tides fully, and also you about having some weird kind of placements. So once again, let's go with the same kind of order, where we place down who we need placed down. This time we actually want Arrogance to be the one to provide a boost to... Okay, let's redo that a bit. Obviously, if every time for the first time you're trying to figure out like placements, it's not that simple, but maybe I'm just being stupid. So right here we obviously have everyone boosted, then Silas gets in, he gets his boost. Lust can go in later. So right here with Volker, Lust, Arrogance for Lust, and then Jova last. Okay, let's swap the stance and let's get into ult using Madness, because I don't really think there's too much of a point for us to wait with most of our ultimates. And also the effect of this whole team composition is only going to become more pronounced at A1, because you're going to get an additional 10% rage, though it does say it's only on swapping. So I guess what you really want to do to make the most out of it is swap your it's going to be swapping your stance quickly back to back every 45 seconds. We'll have to see if there's a specific indicator that helps us with seeing if the A1 is or isn't ready. But as far as I can tell, if you want to make the most out of this whole swap situation, you probably have to quickly swap back and front every 45 seconds, so you get the extra rage boost as well as anything else. Though yeah, just besides the obvious one, which is going to be the inspiration, we also have the penetration boost, which should currently be on, I believe, I would guess Hex. It's Wukong for sure, and then it's either Hex, Silas or Lust. One of these is going to be straddled with the extra penetration, which obviously is not really going to show its true value in this fight. It's not going to show its true value in this fight, but it is going to show its true value when it comes to Guild Boss 2, because Guild Boss 1, at least for the moment until we get Nightmare 5, doesn't have all that crazy defenses in the first place. And what do you think about this gameplay style? I think this is by far the most chill you can have, because we could technically put it on auto ultimates, though I don't know. I think auto ultimates wouldn't even trigger Diao-chan, right? So yeah, you could technically put this on auto ultimates and get the same score, because what we're really doing is just triggering everything on cooldown, because inspiration is active every single time. And obviously there might be a little bit of variance when it comes to perfectly timing it, for example, for the downed shields, but you are still going to get the majority, if not 90 to 95% of your score, by just taking advantage of the permanently gained rage, the perma inspiration that is active every time. So we are looking at just, and that is in Guild Boss 1, Dolores' strong suit, with full everything, just a 5k blood loss. The biggest losses obviously would be in the big guys that got a lot of boost, like Hex. Hex before had a Laurel boost. I would guess Wukong and Hex were the ones to get the penetration boost. But overall, what you're really seeing is more damage from everybody. And also, did you expect this? They have equal gear. There's equal gear between Volker and Jovar. And Volker almost catching up to Jova. Volker is no one to play around with. And yeah, here you see she did tank a bit of damage, did tiny bit of healing. Volker coming in with that clutch over healing. Last 1.2 million healing, because she did a lot of basic attacks, I guess. And yeah, oh boy, this is pretty good, considering like it is less than a 10% decrease in score. And that is with A0 everything. Once again, same scenario. And right here, keep in mind, we did not take advantage of the A1 because it wasn't there. So when switching to Serenade of Hope, blah 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 blah. And also, this increase in basic attack range, you've seen how big this increase is, which means you would even be able to steal Constance's place. And for example, instead of 3 marksmen, run 4 fighters or potentially even 5 fighters. So a lot of possibilities. And I think for this one, do let me know in the comments down below which content you want to burningly see. I might even make a second video today, depending on how many pieces of content we come up with, where we can clearly clearly see the benefit of her. So yeah, let's briefly talk about where she's going to be really strong, right? So obvious, every single piece of content in the game, because it is inspiration. So every single piece of content in the game, she's gonna be used. And now the real part is she has huge range for that inspiration. She can probably boost all 3 lanes in, let me see. So let's say we go up here. Yes, she can boost this tile, she can boost down here, and she can boost over here. If you place Diao-chan here, she's going to be, I mean, let's briefly go in there, right? She is going to be providing a massive boost. So while we talk about this whole testing stuff, let's quickly bring her into different pieces of content to kind of see what her range would be doing. Okay, so she wouldn't be able to. So let's say we move her over here. She would have inspiration on this side, inspiration for down here, inspiration for over here, and inspiration for over here. So she can't at least reach the top, which obviously limits it a bit. But I would say the longer the piece of content is, the stronger she gets. The less. Also, one of the bigger points is, as soon as Laurel can't be brought to a piece of content, that's already a big plus for her, because she doesn't need ult gauge. She always provides inspiration. And then number 2, the longer the piece of content is, the less burst phases there are. So for example, epilogue. Epilogue, obviously the tile placement isn't going to work with her, but content in the style of epilogue, where you're spending a lot of time fighting the same boss, is going to be something where she really shines, because all your units are permanently hitting 25% harder with an attack value. Obviously that's not quite a calculation, but you know what I mean. So it's a unit. It's a unit for sure. Okay, let's otherwise go through them. So Gear 1, Gear 2, Gear 3, no brainer. You can bring her easily. Gear Dungeon 1. Let's see if there's a slight advantage to bringing her. Maybe you can go down to 1 inspiration unit, depending on how this whole range thing works out. Obviously a bit hard to say straight like that. So let's see. What if we were to place her on this tile? It's not her awakened version. I mean, but you've already seen it, right? You've already seen what I'm thinking about, and that is the fact that you're going to be completely able to disable the double inspiration strategy by inspiration boosting the same 2 DPSs full time. So let's currently give that once more a quick look. And this is the range we're looking at. So you are going to be able to inspiration boost whoever you're placing here. You're going to be able to inspiration boost your DPS down here. So someone like a Vierna, and here someone like a Valkyria. Easy double inspiration boost, permanent uptime. As well as if it does get critical, you can always, to ensure that someone survives, swap. For example, this being the healing stance. You could then, let's quickly give her a chance to do a bit of healing, why not? Let's place down. So here we have a bit of healing that obviously gets stronger over time, and then we can swap the stance, and then just as quickly we would be able to swap the stance back. So very interesting kit. Still hard to say how big the potential is, but once again, if you have anything specific you want to let me know about, to test more extensively, or anything where we could see a clear advantage for either of the 2 characters, do let me know down in the comments below. Otherwise, the design of the character is amazing. This whole stance swap thing, black hair, red hair, dark, white, it is pretty cool. Awakenings don't seem too necessary. Like the A1 seems like something you want, just so you can get this burst healing as well as the rage regen. A2 you don't necessarily need as much. A3 might open up a couple more possibilities, though A5 you can pretty much stop giving a fuck about too much, because it's just 1 more penetration. It's not going to be that great. So A3 at max, A1 is the goal, A0 is still fine, and we see each other in the next one. Peace!